In December 2019, one of the most powerful men in the global car industry jumped bail in Japan while facing charges of financial misconduct and was smuggled out of the country in a large box. For Carlos Ghosn, who headed an automotive alliance including Nissan, Renault and Mitsubishi, it was a spectacular fall from grace that saw his reputation trashed and a mountain of criminal and civil charges laid at his door. Ghosn's flight from justice took him to Lebanon, which has no extradition treaty with Japan, and he joins me this week from Beirut. All along, he's insisted he's innocent of the charges against him. So why run away? Carlos Ghosn, welcome to Conflict Zone.
Thank you.
You seem to want your reputation back almost as much as you wanted your freedom. Given the multiple charges you still face, do you think you'll ever be fully vindicated?
Well, if you have been following the so-called justice system in Japan, which looks more like a hostage justice system, I don't think you will ever be cleared in Japan because the intention from the beginning is to charge you. The question is, what is the charge is going to stick and how long they can keep you in Japan. Unfortunately, as you know, things did not turn the way they wanted it. Look at the trial taking place today with Greg Kelly, my ex-colleague, who has been held in Japan now for 2.5 years, which trial I understood is going to have a conclusion by the end of this year, which will make him 3 years in Japan, for a charge, a single charge, which is complicity in non-declaring a compensation that was neither decided nor paid, that Senator Wicker, chairman of the Trade Committee in the US Senate, called a bogus charge. So if you say, when my name is going to be cleared in Japan, I'm afraid unless they really change the hostage justice system, it will never be cleared. But my battle is not for the Japanese government or the Japanese prosecutor or the executives, the bunch of executive who organized the plot.
But it doesn't help you, does it, Mr.
Ghosn?
It doesn't help you that in the eyes of many people you're a fugitive from justice, aren't you? Even though you say you'd never have got justice in Japan and you were hardly treated. My question is, are there any circumstances under which you'd return to Japan to face trial?
I will go to Japan gladly to face trial when there will be a justice system in Japan where defense is allowed to express itself. As long as there is a joke of a justice system called the hostage justice system, there is no way I'm going to put myself in the masquerade justice that I was submitted to for more than 1 year.
The Japanese government has said it will never give up fighting to get you back, and with an international arrest warrant out in your name, the world's going to be a very small place for you, isn't it? Unless you do return. How long can you live in this kind of limbo?
First, obviously, as long as you have the hostage justice system, I cannot go to Japan. Now, for the other country, there are rules in the Interpol, because you're talking about the red notice, which is implemented on me at the request of the Japanese government. There are rules. And between the rules of Interpol, just for your own knowledge, Interpol cannot intervene if human rights are being violated. Interpol cannot intervene if it's a political issue. Interpol cannot intervene if the matter that we're dealing with could be done outside the justice system. Well, as you know, or if not, I'm going to tell you, I have the 3 reasons for the red notice to be eliminated. It's a political situation. Second, my human rights have been violated. It's not only me saying that, it's the United Nations Expert Commission saying that and asking Japan to do an investigation about that. And third, even the Prime Minister Abe, ex-Prime Minister of Japan, said this matter should never have been landed into the justice system in Japan. It should have been dealt with in the boardroom of Nissan.
Mr. Ghosn, you've complained bitterly about Japan's justice system, but you don't seem that keen on the French justice system either, which is also investigating you. You told a newspaper last month you were no longer sure you'd get a fair hearing in France either. You sound very much like someone who isn't going to accept any justice system unless it finds you innocent. Is that right?
Yeah, the French investigation came on a voluntary basis. I accepted to answer their question. They came under the Lebanese jurisdiction. They asked hundreds of questions that I was glad to answer. I would have liked this interrogation to take place a long time ago, before the character assassination campaign took place, not only in Japan but also in France. So I answer completely all the questions, and now we will see what's going to be the follow-up on this investigation.
But you've criticized the French for freezing some $30 million of your assets. You called it a method to weaken your defense. Why does it weaken your defense? Maybe they're just afraid that since you jumped bail in Japan, you might move your assets outside their reach.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I criticized the fact that they've been very quick into freezing my assets, which only consequence is to make my defense more difficult, because obviously you have a lot of bills to pay. That's what I've criticized. As you know, on the Japanese side, my assets have never been frozen. As long as I was in Japan, my bank accounts were still open. I could make transactions easily. Japanese never done this. But the French immediately jumped on the first, what they call suspicion, to freeze everything, which I consider as one way to handicap my defense system. This being
well, I guess
said,
they don't trust you. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? They don't trust you.
Well, this is an old story. You know, the reasons for which I was arrested in Japan, as you know, has nothing to do with the so-called charges they have been fabricating all the time after my arrest. This is something which is linked to a fight inside the alliance and to the conversion between Renault and Nissan. You know, if you want more information, you can read the book I have published, which explains clearly.
I want to come on to that in a little while, if we can. A few weeks after your arrest in 2018, you were allowed to talk to the press, which gave you a chance to protest your innocence and claim that you were the victim, as you say, of an elaborate plot to destroy your reputation. My question is, why would your enemies, especially those at Nissan, bother with a hugely complicated plot? If they didn't like the direction you were taking the company, they could have just fired you or got the board to fire you, couldn't they? You've said yourself they didn't need to go to all this trouble to get you out.
Sir, if you consider that I was given the chance to talk to the press, you are in bad faith. You are bad faith. It's a bad faith. I've been denied any possibility to talk, and you know it. And if you ask a question, that means you're a bad faith. And if you were a bad faith, we stop the discussion here. For 1 year, for 14 months, I was forbidden to talk to my wife. I was forbidden to see my family. When I wanted to organize a press conference in Japan, I was rearrested. After I'd been freed a second time, I was told by the prosecutor that I'm free to talk, but they will be free to bring new charges. If you consider that I was free to talk, frankly, I consider that you have not a minimum of good faith.
Last November, you told Arab News, I knew very well that if the Japanese no longer wanted this...
We will stop. I'm sorry, we'll stop it here.
And with that, Mr. Ghosn left the studio and refused our invitation to return. There are tough questions to be answered, and we were looking forward to asking them.